Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Narc Free Formula. My name's Freedom. Thank you for joining me tonight. In this evening's episode, I want to talk about why we stay or why don't we leave. Before I start though, please remember, if you're liking my videos, remember to like them, subscribe to the channel, and to help me grow the channel, please share the videos widely across any social media platforms. All right, so there are a lot of reasons why we stay or why we don't leave. I have written down 12 reasons, but this is not, I could probably write 112 reasons, but off the top of my head, the 12 top reasons that kind of sprung to mind were, if you have children, often we stay for the kids. A lot of us come from broken homes. A lot of us believe that children are better off with their fathers in a in a not broken home. Whatever the opposite of that is, I'm a bit tired. But sadly, in actual fact, staying in an abusive relationship will definitely damage the children more than getting the hell out of there. But that leads me to number 2. Look, sometimes he won't let you take the kids. A lot of abusers and predators will use the kids as a form of control. So they may say, well, you can go on, off you go. You're not taking those kids. I mean, literally, word for word, you're not taking those kids. Those kids aren't going anywhere. And so who's going to leave? What kind of mother is going to leave their children behind? Most of us will not do that. So the narcissist knows that, so they will use the children against you. The third point is, there's often so much chaos surrounding these kind of relationships, so much trauma and drama, daily chaos, that there just never seems to be the right time to leave. We think we need to plan these things out. We think, oh, I can't just up and leave, which is kind of ironic, because that's usually the way it ends up happening in the long term. Because there's never a right time to leave when you're dealing with daily crisis, daily dramas, daily fights. So number 4, because we don't have enough money, or we don't have our own jobs. So the financial control involved in these relationships, it's a real thing. If you don't have access to money, if you don't have a job, if you can't support yourself, I mean, how far do you really think you're going to get? And if you don't know what services to access, and if you don't have, any connections or friends or people to help you, it just gets harder and harder. I mean, you can't even afford to catch a cab. Can't afford to get on a bus, don't have your own car, don't have money. I mean, how far are you really going to get? Number 5, and this kind of ties into that, when we don't have friends and family around us. So sometimes this happens kind of organically. Sometimes people, their families pass away, or they move away from their families, but sometimes it also is part of the narcissistic dynamic, as in, he isolates you from your friends and your family, and it is done strategically to isolate you, so that you are powerless and so that you don't have anywhere to go. Where are you going to go if you don't have anywhere to go? Well, you're not going to go, are you? You're just going to have to stay. Number 6. This one's a bit of a sad one. So we stay because we believe the lies that we're being told. So we believe that he's trying. We believe that he's going to stop with the abuse and that he'll get help. It's almost like they have a sixth sense going on. It's almost as though they know when you're about to leave. Well, there's 2 things. Firstly, there's the sixth sense thing going on, because they pay so much attention to your, your body language, your facial mannerisms, your micro expressions. They pay so much attention to those little details that they know what's going on with you. So there's that. But then there's also the fact that they are sneaky and they will often have you under surveillance. So even if that is just, as simple as picking up your phone the second you leave the room to scroll through your messages and see who you've been talking to, they often have us under surveillance. I mean, it can be that kind of that simple surveillance, or it can be actual surveillance where they have apps on your phone, apps on your computer, cameras around the house. They take being in control very seriously, which is why they get so narc injured, so butt injured when you actually do escape from them. They don't like that at all. All right. So number 7, for some of us, drugs have been a part of the relationship. And so if you are physically addicted to drugs, once again, you've got this extra added element. I mean, as if it wasn't hard enough, already, but now you've got a physical addiction. You've got no money, no drug dealing contacts, no access to drugs. You don't want to have to go to hospital and out yourself, or go to to speak to a doctor. You might not have money to do that, depending on what part of the world you're in. I mean, drugs have been used as a form of control by the narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths for, since the beginning of time. They know that drugs make it so much easier to control someone. And it's sad and it's true, but, it's a reality. If drugs are involved, that just makes it so much harder to leave. If you've got a window of opportunity where you know that within 24 hours you're going to start feeling sick, and if you've got no money, nowhere to go, really, how far do you think you're going to get? And the thing is, I mean, I don't want to be negative here, because obviously, so many of us do manage to escape against great odds. But the reality is that, when people say, oh, why doesn't she just leave? Like, if he's such a bastard, why does she just leave? This is the stuff that they just overlook, that they, conveniently overlook. All right, number 8. So for a lot of us, there is the fear of physically being hurt. So fear of being hurt or being hunted down. I know for my particular instance, my ex would always talk about hunting me down, that I would never be able to escape him, that I would never be able to leave him, that he would always find me, that, that he would kill anyone that I was with. Those kind of threats. That's when you got that kind of threat going through your mind. I mean, you really have to weigh it all up. How much do you actually want to get away? Are you really willing to kind of put your physical safety on the line? And so when you do end up leaving, you really have to take those threats seriously. All right, number 9. Okay, this one's a bit different. This is, our own, our own embarrassment. So for a lot of us, we're only just coming to terms with the fact that we have been abused, or we are in abusive relationships. But then it's, we don't want other people to know. We're embarrassed. We don't want to admit it to ourselves and to other people, because, other people along the line have seen the red flags. They've tried to point out that, he's not really a nice guy, or he's this or he's that. But we've convinced them. We've said, no, he's not really like that. You just met him on a bad day, or no, you just don't know him like I do. And then to have to kind of admit that we were actually wrong, and that he is abusive, and that we are at risk, that's hard. Like, that's really hard. It's embarrassing, it's humiliating, and it's something that, that once you've said it, you can't take it back. That once you've told people, once you've gone to them for help and had to admit that he is abusive, now they know. And that you can't take that back. And so for so many of us, the cognitive dissonance is a real thing. We're so torn between, is he who he says he is? The nice, loyal, loving, honest bloke that he says he is? Or is he the abusive, manipulating liar that we see for our own eyes? Is he that bloke? So we're torn between these two, frames of mind about him. And so we know that as soon as we tell someone else what's going on, they're going to tell us, that's not good, it's not healthy, you got to get away. And for a lot of us, we're almost not at that stage where we want to hear it. They say that it takes us sometimes, I think it's seven times of leaving, going back, until we do it for good. And I think that's because, there's certain things that we, certain issues and certain just stuff that we've got to process, like that, coming to terms with how we actually, what we really think and what we really feel and what the truth is about our relationship. And once you have come to terms with it, and once you have it actually admitted to yourself and others that he is abusive, then it takes you that step further down the track to actually escaping for good. All right, number 10. So we fear that we can't do it without him, and make no mistake, he will have told us that we can't do it without him. Every day he will tell us in one way or another how useless we are, how, strong and awesome he is, what a hard worker he is, how lucky we are to have him, how no one else would ever want us like he wants us, and all those kind of things. And so that, those fears actually, those little seeds, they grow. And so we start to doubt our ability, even though prior to him being in our lives, we managed to, have jobs, run families, businesses, we did a whole lot of stuff. But, once you've been in an abusive relationship for any period of time, your self-worth and your self-esteem has been managed down to the point where you are, a shadow of your former self. All right, darlings, number 11. So, we may have left before and say it didn't work. Maybe we went through the court systems and maybe we couldn't get an AVO, or we got an AVO, or whatever it is in your particular country, a protection order. Maybe we couldn't get it through the courts, or maybe we couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford to go to the courts. Maybe he, humiliated us in court. Maybe the law and justice system just didn't support us the first time that we tried. And if that's happened, those kind of experiences, you don't forget that stuff. And we need support when we're leaving these men. We need protection and we need support. And if we feel like we don't have protection and we don't have support, this is just one of the barriers that keep us in these toxic and dangerous relationships. And number 12. So he keeps telling us that he loves us, that we're his family, that we are soulmates, that we belong together, and that what we have is real. And what's really interesting about all of that is they say the exact same thing to each and every one of their supply. So the woman before you, he said it to her, and the one that came after you, he's saying it to her, and the one who's coming after her, he'll say it to her too. And I know this for a fact because I have witnessed what he's saying to the new supply, and I've also spoken to the woman who came before me. And I guarantee you, he told me exactly what he's saying to the new supply. That, he'd never found a woman like me before. And that what we had was just, so much more and so real. And, it was everything to him. I literally can guarantee word for word what he told me is what he's telling the new supply. And it's the exact same thing that he told the woman that came before us. So the lies are what keep us trapped. I mean, predominantly, that's really what it boils down to. The lies. We are believing the lies that what we have is special, that what we have is real, that what we have is some kind of connection, you know, that we are, I don't know, soulmates, you know, connected forever, twin flames, blah, blah, blah. I could sit here and talk about this all day, but it actually makes me feel physically sick. The truth of the matter is they say that shit to everyone. Okay? You're not special. So if you're hearing this, you're not special. Okay? That's what they say to women to keep them trapped. And I'm sorry, and I know that it hurts, but coming to terms with this is one of the most important things that you can do to help you get out. You know, because you have to get over this stuff in your own head. I mean, you know, it's in part, he's controlling you, but in part, you're also letting him because you're believing the lies. Okay? They didn't love the one before you, or the one after you, or the one after her. Okay? It's just about power and control and manipulation. All right, darlings, I'm going to say goodnight. It's late. But thank you for joining me, and please, like I said, share the videos widely on social media, and if you've got anything to say, put it in the comments. Good night, lovelies.